Hello, and welcome to Revive Arts Collective virtual play reading of Laced. My name is Katie Luchtenberg. I'm the co-creator of Revive Arts Collective and the lead producer on the show. We would like to thank the wonderful cast and creative team for all of the hard work they've put in over the past 2 weeks. We appreciate you so much and can't wait to show you this wonderful piece that they've created. We would also like to thank Sam Mueller for giving us permission to do this reading and for being here with us tonight. They are such a lovely artist and human. Please support their work and be sure to check them out on New Play Exchange. We would also like to thank our audience because without you and your generous donations, none of this would be possible. A portion of the donations will be donated to the Brave Space Alliance tonight. Revive is a newer collective that is based on creating a myriad of virtualized arts experiences. And if you like what you see tonight, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and on our website at reviveartscollective.com. We will be doing a Q&A with the author and cast after the performance, so please feel free to type any questions you have in the chat. The director would like to dedicate tonight's performance to the music artist Sophie and all of the other trans women who we didn't get to see grow old. Without further ado, here is Laced by Sam Mueller.
It should be visible before it even begins. The nightclub, or what's left of it. Bottles smashed, swastikas drawn on the glassy surfaces. The D slur and F slur are prominent as well. There should be no graffiti that directly says the name of a politician. Resist that urge. This is about more than just one white man. There's a main bar, bottles overturned. Across the floor, there's a second, smaller bar for when it gets busy. It's littered with smashed glass. At least one queer flag is on the ground. At least one queer flag is still hanging. Playing over all of this is orchestral music. It should feel extremely out of place. Nothing about this whole scenario feels right. Kat and Audra survey the damage, that paradox of disbelief, but also complete belief. They kick glass with the toes of their shoes. The most offensive of the markings are scrubbed clean with alcohol where they can be. And then, when you are ready for it to begin, or maybe when your audience is least ready for it to begin, they look at each other. In a split second, loud music with female vocals. I don't care what genre, but it should be what an old white man might describe as angry. Minnow drags over 3 bar stools. None of them match. She kicks the wreckage out of the way to make space for the 3 of them. She takes out 3 shot glasses. They don't match either. She takes a bottle off a higher shelf. A deep breath. We are here now.
Check in.
You want to check in right now?
Yes, check in.
I think you can deduce my check-in.
Dearly beloved.
Minnow waits. Minnow and Audra look to Kat. It's clearly Kat's turn.
Queerly beloved.
We are gathered here today.
Get through this thing called life.
Minnow pours 3 shots.
Now for Prince.
Minnow pushes the shots across the bar. They tap the shots to the bar and take them.
Check in.
Kat still doesn't have words to say.
I just thought that maybe we could have been spared. I thought this place could be spared from something like this.
Passed over.
Like some Moses shit, Old Testament passed over.
Oh, like some real world hate has no predictability and maybe we got lucky shit. Apparently not.
Minnow, check in?
Hold between the comfort of you two and the discomfort of this place.
Audra stands. She pokes out the wreckage.
Look, when you said something happened to the bar, I thought maybe a few smashed bottles, not hate crime vandalized.
You could have maybe warned us a little better.
I don't understand. We were all here last night.
The cops say there's no sign of forced entry.
You mean someone was here after lockup?
They say someone had to have been inside.
In the bar?
In the back room, in the DJ booth. Yeah.
Shit.
Well, who locked up?
Minnow.
I swear to you, I locked up every door. There's security footage from the baker. You can clearly see I locked up the back door before I left.
I just mean, how long were you here after I drove Kat home?
Not long.
What about our security footage?
The wires look chewed through.
Get the fuck out.
It's been like that for weeks. It's not like any of us ever check. There's nothing after on the bakery footage, so they must have left through the front door.
Maggie never said anything about the camera being out.
Yeah, what did Maggie have to say about all this?
We can't reach her. She's still out of
In the fucking Caribbean. Right.
right. We have the clear to act as we see fit, as I see fit, until Maggie comes back or until she gets cell reception to say otherwise. It's legally my call. She left me in charge when she
Ghosted?
Minnow, what can I get you?
I want us to pile the wreckage. Offer it up as a gift. A middle finger gift.
Okay.
We were the core few here last night. Maybe we can piece together things out of place, people acting weird.
Memory is so faulty.
Together we can fill in the holes or even just see if we can find a way out of this. Look, the cops swept the place earlier and I persuaded them to sweep Maggie's place upstairs and then I locked myself in. I've been in here all day and racking my brains for anything that could explain this. I couldn't bring myself to leave. I just kept checking every corner, every single light on. I couldn't sit here alone any longer. I couldn't keep this to myself. I think my only way out of this is to go back through it. Do this for me. For us.
A moment. Kat and Audra pour themselves a shot. All three raise. They tap the shot glasses to the table. The music begins to shift back to loud music. Femme vocals, an overlap of orchestral and guttural. Over the sound of the music, Minnow speaks.
11 p.m. That's when all of us were here. Doors have been open, but there's barely anyone here until now. Right about when the first drag performance is scheduled. Mostly baby queers. This is when the bar feels like Mecca. They've heard our ID scanners are down.
True.
They're using mostly bad fake IDs that they ordered online. Clark and Meg let them in because why the fuck not? They come in packs. They bring that one friend who swears they're not gay.
I know the type.
I was the type.
We mix drinks. We watch their minds begin to bend. We watch them breathe a little deeper. 11 p.m. gives me the fuel to work until 4. Last call is a world away, but right now it doesn't matter. These kids have a world to explore.
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
They take their shots.
They literally think the drag is going to start at the advertised time.
Cute.
I'm throwing glances at the babies. They're so scared.
Be nice to them. They don't know the look across the room yet.
And how else are they going to learn?
Well, you're going to intimidate them.
Good. It's not like I'm going to bite.
Not unless someone asks.
Hey,
It was too easy. I had to.
do you remember the first femme to give you the look across a bar?
Hell yeah. And I was scared out of my mind.
You scared?
Waking in my docks.
Of course you owned docs.
Hey, you're wearing docs, bitch.
I had broad shoulders.
Is that what does it for you?
Do you remember the first femme to own herself so well? They taught you there was more than one way to be. You're not sure if you're attracted to them or if you just want to be them.
I get it.
Broad shoulders. It was like the light in me recognizes the light in you.
Namas fucking te, man.
Ugh, don't give me that yoga bullshit right now.
It's true though.
Don't fall asleep. It's not even witching hour yet.
Audra flips Kat the bird, still mid-yawn. Kat claps their hands in front of Audra.
It's too early for yawns.
Sorry, it's been a long day.
Long week, friend.
Cheers.
They clink shot glasses.
which work all day, work all night, which, hey, if the world ends on election night, maybe I'll get a full 8 hours sleep.
It's not even that. It's just like raise other people's kids in the day, watch adults become babies at night.
Who'd you have to babysit today?
Agnes.
It'll be worth it when you pay for law school up front. Promise.
I guess, but then there's law school to get through.
Well, did she not take a nap or what?
Agnes has had a fever for a week straight. No other symptoms, just a fever. And it's like she knows that she should be burning right now. It's fucking coded in her chromosomes. Her 2-year-old body is burning. And who am I to tell her that she's wrong?
Woof.
I just keep telling her, Agnes, my heart wants to burn it all down too, but we need to keep you healthy. So, yeah, I'm fucking exhausted. Shit. I think we got high school kids. Do they look like high school kids to you?
Almost certainly. Fuck.
Hold on, let me pour them whatever rub. I'll card them again when they order. I want to see the craftsmanship on their fakes.
Audra stifles another yawn.
Let me know if you need some coffee. I keep a stash of King Corona under here. We can always send one of us out to get more.
What about no outside drinks in the bar?
It's Maggie's rule, not mine. And she's off snorkeling off Turks and Caicos right now and doing God knows what else. She's never going to find out.
Minnow slides a coffee cup toward Audra.
One day, I'll own this place. I'll buy it out from under her, or she'll die and leave it to me. She wouldn't curse anybody else with this place in her will. And when that happens, we will also serve cafe and make a killing, and the joke will be on her. But until then,
Contraband coffee from down the street.
I hope she felt that sip all the way in the Caribbean.
Audra slides the cup back. Minnow tucks it away safely. Cat comes around the back of the main bar.
High school kids trying to order a rum and Coke. I asked them if they had a preference on rum, and they said, Jack Daniels is fine. Like, fuck out of here.
Cat slips the coffee out from under the counter.
Like, can't you just say, no preference? I mean, better yet, can't you just say Jack and Coke if the only thing you know is Jack?
Or
Coke and simple syrup, real fancy and fast, so they couldn't tell. I hope their pediatric dentist thanks me for their cavities.
High school kids even get passable fake IDs. I never got a good fake in high school.
they wire gobs of money to strangers off of the internet and are really sketchy.
I can't get an ID without gender on it, but these fucks can say they're anybody in the world.
These fucks are also drinking raw sugar at this point.
Audra takes a look around.
It's young in here tonight.
It's early. They'll filter out before it gets really raucous in here. No stamina.
Kat grabs some supplies from under the bar.
Gotta go clean off the sidebar again. I think they're using both bar tops for the first show, and if someone slips on condensation from the youth,
Hold up. Check-in.
it's a bit late for a check-in, don't you think?
Mano pours 3 shots. They look to one another.
Dearly beloved,
Queerly beloved,
Mano
we are gathered here today
to get through this thing called life.
Oh, one for Prince.
Kat grabs the shot from Minno's hand. They literally pour it out for Prince. Minnow pours another shot while she speaks.
Okay, real fast, and we can go back to pouring cavity cocktails.
All right, we've got drag every hour on the hour, or, when it happens. Please be extra kind. We've got Orlando Queens in the house. June was not that long ago, and I do not know how rattled everyone is. And I'm glad they feel ready and willing and able to perform tonight. And I am here to honor their art. That's what I got.
We are done with Halloween specials, thank God, because orange jello shots taste heinous and Halloween is a trash holiday. I will not be convinced otherwise. We're back to normal drinks, but Kat and I are maybe fucking around with new citrus cocktails.
To have it around.
Yes, unless Maggie mixes.
Well, I don't see her, but I do love grapefruit.
Same.
And on my front, Clark and Meg are front door from here on out. We've got Ariel in the DJ booth all night. She's got some new tracks she made with her sister Nirvana, and she's dropping them at midnight. So please listen and let people know. I did hear one already, and it is straight fire and hella cubana. So you know I'm already here for it. Anything else business?
Everyone shakes their heads.
Personal? It can be flash.
Underslept, but here.
Heard. Still haven't heard from Maggie, but we're making the bar work anyways.
In your heart.
Still haven't heard from Maggie, but I'm hearing a heartbeat anyways. It's got to be good enough for now. Kat?
I'm working on making it through the first week of November.
Kat looks over to the high school kids.
Look at them doing that I'm so drunk thing.
You sound jealous of them.
They just look so free.
They don't know any better yet.
Hey,
She clinks shot glasses with the other two.
I'm glad it's us here three tonight.
They all take their shots. We shift back to the day after. Only the orchestral music.
So there was us three.
Minnow writes their names on the mirror. Minnow sprays cleaning solution over some of the markings on the mirrors. She runs a rag over the markings. They streak at best. She decides to just write over them.
Bouncers last night were Meg and Clark.
She adds them to the list.
Ariel DJ'd the whole night.
Ariel is added to the list. She adds Coke and Simple Syrup Kids to the list.
Audra, do you remember anything about the lawyers who were sitting at the end of the bar? I remember not recognizing them.
Minnow begins to trace over the rest of the graffiti. She wipes them clean.
Family law. They had their one round tipped 100% and left though. They were having a pretty sobering conversation about their boss being homophobic prick. One of them is worried she's going to get fired if he ever finds out she's gay.
Kat is folding a flag meticulously. Minnow stares at the list, adding names of people she remembers.
Do you think Maggie is going to fire us?
Maggie is gay. She's not going to fire us for being gay. Even if you are dating a guy right now.
I mean, for being here when it happened.
No, this wasn't our fault. It could be someone who sits here comfortably, just carefully holds their rage in their palms until the moment, you know? You remember the first Thanksgiving we had here, Minna?
You guys used to host Thanksgiving here?
Maggie did. It started small, just some bartenders with no place to go. And then it got too big. We had to move it from her apartment down to the bar.
She invited everyone who didn't have a place to go. Not just people who worked here, but people who came here too. And this was back when it was a real piece of shit. And the bar didn't really have an identity then. And it turned out one of the regulars didn't realize he was coming to a gay bar, especially one owned and operated by a woman.
He called her a faggot. And Maggie said, I prefer dyke, and threw mashed potatoes at him. Food fights became fist fight, became calling the cops.
Well, it's impossible to not realize you've walked into a gay bar now.
Yeah, for better and worse, apparently.
A moment. Minnow smirks.
Do you remember how dry the fucking turkey always was?
It was like chewing on wood chips.
Is this why I'm vegan now? Maybe.
There was other food too, thankfully.
Only because people brought like generic puffy Cheetos and pizza.
Why did Maggie stop hosting Thanksgiving?
Maggie said it was because the bar lost too much money in liquor one year.
It was really because I'd moved my stuff out of Maggie's that Halloween.
You lived with Maggie?
We tried not to let anyone know.
I knew. We all knew.
I know. Everyone knew the whole time. I don't know why we thought it was a secret.
With you both going upstairs to Maggie's after closing.
I was sneaky when I was 24, okay?
I didn't realize you and Maggie were ever a real thing instead of...
The bullshit we've been doing for the past year? Yeah. Well, she used to be fun.
You gotta realize, Audra, she used to be around.
And she used to throw a mean right hook in the face of some homophobic motherfuckers, that's for sure.
But would she close down the bar, do you think? Like, our weeknights are slow and now this?
That's how it works. Some nights are slow, some nights are over capacity.
But when's the last time we've even seen her?
Minnow begins to sweep debris into a trash bag. Kat throws a warning glance at Audra.
We're not losing our jobs. We aren't closing down. We aren't giving up.
You aren't giving up, but Maggie might.
What do you want to do?
Okay, everyone breathe a second.
I'm allowed to not know what I want to do right now. I just want to be prepared.
Minnow keeps cleaning debris. A moment. Audra grabs the dry erase markers. She writes names on the board.
Meg's college friend Andrew, Heather, and Crystal came in. They stayed all night, so they might have seen something. Juana, who always orders the amaretto sours, was in right as I came around the bar. And then this group of pre-meds from USF, that's who I remember from the beginning of the night.
Minnow doesn't say anything.
And I spent the midnight to 1 a.m. hour bartending with you.
Audra puts the marker down.
Okay.
I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know what I want Maggie to do. Okay?
Okay.
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 I didn't mean to bring up Maggie losing hope in us.
She didn't give up hope in us. Just me.
Cut that out. Cut it out. It's not productive.
What do we remember about midnight?
Midnight?
What?
Minnow grins and looks around the busy bar. We are sliding back to midnight.
Well, from what I remember, Ariel put on that new song and you.
We shift.
Medianoche.
Is this gonna end with you dancing on the bar with a customer again?
Hey, but it did bring the cash tips up.
A veces huele a gentrificación, pero a la medianoche, no. All Cuban music is club music. Ariel knows.
Minnow will dance throughout. Kat has been handed a cigar by someone in the club. They are inspecting it.
You literally cannot smoke that in here.
Puff puff. Juana brought it in. She said that's a real Cubano and I trust her.
Audra contemplates.
I'll teach you how to blow smoke rings.
You don't know how to blow smoke rings.
I do too.
Since when?
Years. Minnow taught me.
Who taught you?
Lira.
Kat starts to unwrap the cigar.
Audra, don't get her started.
Oh, come on. This is the point in the night where someone's usually leaning over the bar going, who's Lira? And no one is taking the bait tonight. Kat, help a Gemini out.
Kat laughs. It's all very fun.
I'm not gonna flirt with you for sport.
Who's Lita?
Audra, oh my God. Get your popcorn.
This is to Audra, mostly at first. But we watch Minnow search the non-scene crowd for someone to flirt with, someone to entertain.
When I was growing up, when my dad wasn't home, Eddie Lira would come drink café. Mami would let us blast Gloria Stefano volumen prendido. God, I used to love when Lira would come over.
Do you know if we have a guillotine or should I just use a sharp knife?
Are you really gonna smoke that in here?
Minnow spins Audra around to dance to grab her attention back.
Mommy would look at me and go, watch the pros. And they would glide together. My mother leading, but they were one being. Un solo cuerpo, Mino.
Minnow spins around Audra. She finds someone at the bar who has been watching, someone listening, someone cute who might not need a translator.
I remember how red my father flushed when I asked, ¿Por qué no bailas con Mami como Lira? And that's when I learned, Mami y Lira no eran simplemente amigas.
Minnow should know who is in the room with her, really with her, and this is for them, but mostly for Minnow herself.
Medianoche, mami y Lira. Las tortilleras en formación y las bollos pequeñas ceden el paso a las lesbianas originales. Las hijas que rollaban cigarrillos por allá y boquean cuando ven cómo bailan las muchachas, como si fueran un solo cuerpo. Y detrás del bar, bucket.
She climbs on top of the bar.
Y encima del bar, I conceal a few moments to dance.
Audra, we should pick up the slack because Minnow is dancing and not doing her job.
Minnow holds up her middle finger and keeps dancing.
Who'd you catch tonight, Minnow?
Esta noche estoy enamorado de mí mismo.
I know you love yourself. That's not what I asked.
She ever coming down from there?
Let her. We can cover. Did you see where those kids dipped off to?
You're paranoid as fuck tonight. Let the kids go.
Yo, I've just had weird feelings all night. There's just mischief after midnight, you know?
Says the person trying to smoke a cubano indoors.
The song ends and Minnow hops down off the bar.
How's it feel up there, Minnow?
Breathtaking. I hope when I'm 60, I'm still out dancing past midnight on the tops of bars.
One day Maggie's going to catch you doing that.
Maggie's the first person I ever saw dancing on this bar.
I call bullshit.
Deadass. Look at the girl at the end of the bar. I'm gonna go see if she needs anything.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Be right back.
Great. Now I'm picking up the slack because Minnow is flirting and not doing her job.
Flirting is most of the job, queen.
Cat ponders.
Something is off.
Nope.
You can't bullshit a witch at midnight. There's something going on. Spit it out.
Long day. I told you.
Long week.
Long, crushing history of doing that.
History of doing the hustle. Yeah, I feel you.
Audra cleans a glass. Obsessively. Minnow returns to pour a pint of beer.
You trying to rub a hole through the glass?
Did you and Kat make an agreement pre-shift to just like be on my case tonight?
Oh.
Is this about something not bar related?
No.
Because we can talk about whatever it is you need to talk about.
No, Minnow, just like go back to flirting with girls at the bar. I'm fine.
It's not been a good week for all of us. Election night is just like lurking. I'd be willing to bet it's not been a good week for anyone in this bar right now. And that's why we're here.
Minnow grabs the glass from Audra. She puts it where it belongs. She walks away.
Do you need some time alone? Maybe just like cut a fuck ton of lime slices or something?
You're not my shrink.
They grab a glass for Audra.
Well, at least take a drink.
I've had a drink tonight, okay? I don't need to loosen up.
Of water. A drink of water. I don't know what kind of shit day you had, but don't take it out on Minnow. She's been looking forward to this hour all fucking day. You know how much shit she's been dealing with while Maggie's gone? She gets this 1 hour, okay? She gets to flirt with cute femmes and dance on top of the bar and think about her mom and her mom's cutesy wife and how they got to grow old as cute old lesbians together. She isn't claiming all of the joy, Audra. There's enough to go around. Let the girl have some joy today.
They nudge the water closer. They slip back to the other side of the bar.
Maybe you should dance on the bar for a while. The chip jar might thank you too.
We shift back to the day after. Kat, on the other side of the bar, cleaning up shards of glass.
My mother, despite all her secrets, she was the one that really got me.
Minnow grabs a broom and begins sweeping.
We don't have to get into it, Minnow. Not if you don't want to.
No, I want to explain it to you. I want you to have some context. He's voting red. My dad. He called me yesterday before his shift. He called me to just check in on me, and I made some bad joke about how he's probably not going to get off his ass to go vote, and he told me. I didn't have it in me to try to talk him out of it because deep down I knew. I was pretty sure that's how he was going to vote, no matter how much that vote hurts me.
Hard when you learn your parents are just people.
And so I just hung up on him. And I came in here for the night. And Kat, I'm not saying that talking to you wasn't helpful. It was.
You could have told me so I didn't look like an asshole.
Wasn't my dirt to dish.
I didn't want them to tell anyone. All I wanted to do was talk to Maggie about it.
Minnow.
No, don't minnow me. She was my person for a long time, you know. She's been here with me through a lot of rough shit.
We can be here for you through a lot of rough shit.
She has the history of it. And I just came in here and it was like this giant empty space without her. And that's when Kat told me that Ariel had new music and that she had this collab, and it felt like a sign from my mother. It felt like she was giving me time to be me, like every single facet of me, of us, really, of the parts of her she gave to me. I needed someone to see me completely, wholly, all of me. And it was really beautiful up here. Midnight always is. Everyone's working security jobs and cleaning the office buildings downtown. They change shifts and they come in here. It gets loud and the dancing gets better.
They laugh.
Dancing gets drunker.
And the crowd gets older.
Sure.
Thank you. I didn't know that you were carrying all of that last night.
We don't ever know. We don't know what people are going through. I'm sure you had your shit last night I didn't know about. And I just wish, sometimes I just wish we gave each other all a little more, I don't know.
And thank you for de facto running this place. I know you're putting work into it, a lot of work.
Guys, I don't know if Maggie's coming back.
She can't stay on a cruise ship forever.
Most of her stuff is gone upstairs. I went up there with the cops when they swept the place. I mean, her stuff is still here, but all the things she cared about, all the little things that made it her place, they're gone.
That's cowardly as fuck.
Is it? She always said that she would leave. She never had any problem putting her body first.
So, we're largely
Alone.
It's hard when you realize the people you love are just people.
One day, and all of a sudden realized I was the adult in the room, and I have no idea how I got here. I can zip up my black jeans and wing my eyeliner, and I can lace up my combat boots as tight as they will go. I just keep getting up every morning and putting on my armor like every other day for the past 10 years, but it's not working anymore. What do I do when it stops working completely? I've got to figure out how to fix my armor, because it's not just about me anymore.
Minnow cleans. Kat and Audra watch her clean. No one is certain what to say. A deep breath, and then
1 a.m.
we shift. Loud, angry femme vocals. Kat is making a very complicated drink. There's an egg white involved.
She's just pissed at me. She keeps snapping at me.
You know how sometimes when you have your own shit on your mind, you start thinking it's other people that are irritable?
Are you calling me a bitch right now?
I'm saying Minna looks pretty happy right now and you look pretty miserable. Wait, now that I think about it, yes, I am saying that.
Audra glares at Kat.
You know I call you out because I love you.
The glare continues.
Your glares won't get you anywhere. You know that about me? I'm not one of your toddlers.
I was hoping you'd be Switzerland in this moment.
This is as Switzerland as I get. You know that? She's just trying to run this place. I mean, she went from being one of us to being our boss overnight.
What the fuck are we even making right now?
Kat begins to vigorously shake the shaker.
Have you been paying attention?
They open the shaker and add ice. They continue to shake.
Let me do that.
You gotta do it really hard.
I got it.
Kat hands over the shaker. Audra shakes.
Harder than that. It's not your run-of-the-mill gin fizz. It's usually a Mardi Gras drink, but I want you to be prepared for when you level up and start working at the places that regularly have egg whites.
Kat pulls down a Collins glass. Audra opens the shaker.
Pour some club soda between the empty halves of the shaker and I'll grab any extra egg white.
Audra does. Then she pours the drink in.
That looks really gross.
Kat holds the drink up.
It didn't shake it hard enough, so the egg didn't foam it up right. You want it to look like it's mostly foam. You want a really frothy head.
Audra flicks soda water at Kat.
You think you're being funny, but you're not.
I don't know. You're acting like you're ready to start a food fight.
Kat grabs a lemon slice.
Put that down. Teach me again.
Audra pours the drink. Kat puts the lemon slice in their mouth like it's candy. They speak through the peel.
You're doing that thing you always do? That scratch at things until they bleed thing?
Nothing's fucking wrong.
Something's wrong.
My badge is broken.
Kat can't help but laugh.
Did your boyfriend give you some STI, girl? I told you dicks are no good. All that junk builds up if they don't wash right.
No.
This is why I don't interact with dicks, literal or figurative.
I want to sometimes.
Do you?
No, I mean, no one wants to, not like 100% of the time. No one's ever like, you know what's not weird? Genitalia. Because we aren't conditioned to believe it's not weird, but it's because it's weird sometimes that it works. It's like, let me put my weird near your weird, or on your weird, or in your weird, and like feel good, you know?
Maybe they're both sharing a laugh at this point.
Bodies are so weird, and I love them because they're weird. And sometimes that person that I want to explore weird with has a dick. And I remember when dicks didn't feel like getting a pap smear with a serrated knife.
Make us some gin fizzies and explain.
Kat grabs eggs from a fridge and puts them in front of Audra.
Repeat it again for me.
2 gin, half heavy cream, half lemon juice, half lime juice, 3/4 simple syrup, and throw a little bit of orange flower juice in there.
Orange flower juice?
Yeah, it's a fancy ass drink. Don't fuck it up again.
They put the orange flower juice in front of Audra.
Got all that?
Yeah,
Double it because there's 2 of us.
I know.
Now spill. What's this vulvic issue? Vulvic? Vulvaic? No, I like vulvic better.
It's like broken.
UTI broken? Because that's uterine.
Fuck you. I know that's uterine. My pelvic floor muscles are.
Kat begins to separate 2 egg whites from their yolks.
My pelvic floor muscles are seemingly continuously clenched.
That is such a you problem.
It's apparently a problem that could have been around for years, but I wouldn't know because there hasn't been much.
Penetration.
Yeah.
Say the word. I dare you.
Not a time to joke, Kat.
Audra, it is kind of funny, isn't it? How long has it been since you slept with someone where the dick was actually attached to their body?
5 years.
5 years. And now your pelvic floor muscles are confused. They thought you were queer.
Audra slams the shaker down.
See, this is why I didn't want to tell you about him, you or Minnow.
Because we'd throw you a little shade.
Audra drops the egg whites into the shaker. She begins to vigorously shake it.
Because I knew the comments were going to roll in. I knew what I was going to hear, and my family was going to say shit like, does this mean you aren't gay anymore? As if every relationship I'm in isn't a queer relationship. Because I myself am queer. I'm queer as fuck. In a queer as fuck relationship. And I'm dating a straight man, which doesn't erase my bisexuality. Fuck that. It happened without me even realizing it. I just so desperately needed someone to look at me and look through all the walls I put up and say, I love you. Not in that friendship forever, let's buy matching necklaces kind of way, or even in the thick as thieves kind of way, you know? I was looking for a partner, and I was worried that I would never find one, or rather that I was going to find one, and all my walls will be built up so thick that I couldn't feel love. And if I can't feel the love, I won't believe the love. And I can't expect someone to brave the storm with me if I can't even find it in me to say thank you. And then he showed up, you know? He just showed up. And I feel like water when I'm around him. Like I can seep into his skin. I'm falling in love with him. I love him so much. I want to drown us both.
A moment. She opens the shaker, runs club soda over the middle section like before. She pours into 2 Collins glasses. Kat takes a sip.
This is it.
Audra sips. They look out at the dance floor. Audra looks to Minnow.
So, how do you fix it? The clenching.
Pelvic floor muscle exercises and like this weird set of medical stretchers.
That sounds archaic.
Because it is.
I'm pretty sure my pelvic muscles just clenched at the thought of it.
No, they're not as bad as they sound. They're more like a series of gradually bigger.
Oh my God. Say it. Say what I think you're going to say.
Dildos, it's not funny.
Ah, it's incredibly funny.
Reteach my muscles that penetration isn't a bad thing.
Kat pushes Audra's Ramos Gin Fizz toward her. We shift back to the bar, a harder shift than before. The orchestral music blends back in until it's the only sound heard.
Something happened to you to teach your muscles.
I just always toe the line between let him in and I have known this before.
I was cavalier last night.
It's fine.
When did it happen?
It doesn't matter. Not really.
We remember intrusion. We remember wreckage. We remember safe and intimate. And we remember safe and intimate being smashed into pieces.
They look around the bar.
I looked right over it last night. I had all the pieces.
Sometimes you can have all the pieces and not be able to put them together.
I'll fuck him up, whoever he is.
It happened in high school. And I don't even know where he is right now. He graduated before me and went off to college. He's out, like, living his life right now. What you said last night helped.
Is it really?
Yes. No, I don't know. The whole thing feels like I'm just not working. And I feel like I can't talk about it. My actual reproductive system, I feel like when something's wrong with my vagina, it's not something I get to talk about.
I'm always here to bluntly talk about anatomy.
No, I know. I'm just not always. And I feel like when I talk about this, I'm giving credence to the politicians who say shit like, the female body has ways of shutting that shit down, because some people believe that. I don't want anyone to think that's how it works. I don't want anyone to think my superhuman pelvic muscles could like ward away invaders. Like there's some mystical spell to prevent. That fuckery is how I got into this situation in the first place. That if I didn't want it, he couldn't have done it.
Well, you can talk about it here.
No, I know. Somewhere in me, I know that, but I always wonder who is going to overhear and get offended.
Fuck them. Who cares?
Who?
Well, you can't let them get to you. You can't give them your energy.
What does that mean, Kat? Like in concrete steps. I'm just protecting myself. Because right now, offended people have some kind of validation that we're actually still supposed to be living in the 50s or the 20s or the 1800s or the 1600s, and all traces of freedom, of progression, they can be eradicated if they need to be, because we have to make it all great again or what the fuck ever. You know what great feels like for most of us? It feels like getting followed into public places and hiding in closets and not feeling free. It feels like 1492 and someone is trying to Christopher Columbus my body all the time. You know, I always thought that all it would take to change someone's narrow-mindedness would be to let them have a night in here and just let them watch on the sidelines.
I always thought it would be impossible to be in here after 2 a.m. and not be dancing, you know?
Sure.
But really, it may be the opposite. Someone who comes in here narrow-minded just gets surrounded by all the things they hate. And wouldn't that just make them madder and madder?
I think some people get more mad and some people get more accepting.
But how do we know the difference?
How do we reach those people who just get more mad?
I mean, is it our job to?
It is when they come in here and they tear it apart. It is when our things and our bodies are at stake, right?
I think that makes it all the more not our job. I think all we can do is take care of our own, because this community has a lot of good ghosts, but not a lot of living, breathing guides.
We can take care of our own and communicate outside ourselves at the same time. Shit's hard, but it's not impossible.
Minnow, every time I think we're doing that, we just get something like this or worse.
Keep talking about it, Audra.
It's terrifying.
Not for anyone other than yourself. We learn this shame somewhere. And the only way to unlearn it is to look at it in its face. I feel like a hypocrite saying this, but I swear I'll try to.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 2 a.m.
A collective breath.
Ariel's spinning something with a pulse, like a heartbeat.
2 a.m. feels like everything is fluid, well-oiled machine.
We've been standing for so long that we don't even notice the dull pain in our feet.
Cat and Minnow pour drinks. Audra clears glasses away as fast as Cat and Minnow are pouring them.
Glass, ice, left-hand liquor, right-hand mixer, look up, witty banter, smile, garnish, repeat. Ice, left-hand liquor, right-hand mixer, look up, witty banter, smile, garnish, repeat. Left-hand liquor, right-hand mixer, look up, witty banter, smile, garnish, repeat.
Left hand liquor, right hand mixer, look up, witty banter. Smile, garnish, repeat. Glass.
I gotta pour like 8 more drinks, bachelorette party.
Yeah, I got it.
Ice, left hand liquor, right hand mixer, look up, witty banter. Smile, garnish, repeat. Glass. ice, left hand liquor, right hand mixer, look up, witty banter, smile, garnish, repeat. Glass, ice,
Left hand liquor, right hand mixer, look up, witty banter, smile, garnish, repeat. Glass, ice,
a breath,
a breath.
lights go out.
Music goes out.
The music shorts. The lights go out except for a dim light somewhere from the DJ booth.
From outside, it sounds like a loud snap. I think this is a part of Ariel's track, but then I hear screaming.
Rather than hearing the people screaming, we should feel it in the silence instead. The three take a moment to check in with each other, and then they continue.
There's a dim glow from Ariel's computer, but no one's eyes have adjusted. You just feel the panic in bodies.
I remember what happened an hour away in a city I suddenly can't name. All I see are Mickey Mouse ears, and deep in my gut, nothing but dread, and I can't move.
People are abandoning their cups, cell phone flashlights blinding one another.
Dread.
A stream of light comes in the back door when Audra opens it. A stream of light comes in the front door when Clark opens it.
Spooked. Dread.
Minnow? Cat?
Left hand cell phone, right hand gripping counter. Breathe. Try to move. Repeat.
911.
Spooked.
I'm calling 911.
Dread. Left hand cell phone, right hand gripping counter. Breathe. Try to move. Repeat. Try to move. Try to move. Try to move. Repeat. A left hand cell phone.
Hey,
Cat jumps.
What the fuck are you doing in here?
I came back in. It's empty, okay? There's no one here.
Minnow crawls back out from under the bar. She uses her cell phone light to see. The bar is empty except for the three bartenders.
You fucking came back in?
Yes?
I mean, what kind of survival instinct was that?
Minnow surveys the empty room.
Power outage?
God, I thought it was.
I'll check if there's a rolling blackout.
Why would there be?
I don't know, Kat. I'm just covering my bases. I'm going to check with Ariel. Maybe something shorted on her end.
Not enough to shut the whole place down.
Is she in the booth?
They all look to the DJ booth.
Probably not.
Cops are on their way. I don't want to check the breaker box without them.
Do we just proceed as normal?
Yes. No, I don't know. This is why we fucking need Maggie. We should sweep the place and then reopen. We need the money.
Ariel's not there.
Can you go check out front? Bouncers should be out there.
She goes. Cat is uncomfortable. They pick up an abandoned drink on the bar. They chug it.
Glad to know we can all fail at our emergency procedures.
They drink from another abandoned drink.
Slow down.
I'm just fucking spooked, okay?
It's okay.
The lights flash back on. It's eerie. The bar is empty, but the club lights are in full swing. No music. Audra returns.
Good news. Breakers tripped. Clark flipped them back.
But why?
He thinks it could be that homeless guy that's always hanging around.
Kids fucking around.
It's not fucking funny. I mean, don't go turning the power off for fun.
There's still a line outside. It seems like a good number of people left in a panic, but then hung around.
Cops are still on their way.
Joy. Nothing says we're all good like the cops parading around.
I'll have Clark take the police around back.
Meg says our 3 a.m. is gone.
What?
The queens who were coming in at 3 a.m., they left.
They ran, you mean?
However you want to say it.
Spooked? Can you blame them?
It's fine. We can just keep playing music, and if anyone asks, we can tell them the truth.
Which is?
We lost power for a second or two, and some people interpreted it as foul play, but there's nothing to worry about.
Is that what happened?
Correct. We don't shut down. So to review, in emergencies, we
Proceed to the exits calmly and quietly. Minnow makes the emergency call. We meet up with Clark and Meg at King Corona.
Or whoever the bouncers on duty are.
Exactly.
So none of us did that.
Nope.
Well, you called the cops.
So maybe we just do that if there is a next time.
Copy?
Are we all okay?
Yes.
I'll do it.
Excuse me?
I'll do it. The 3 a.m. slot. The sidebar will be shut down by then anyways. Audra can pour drinks with you.
Are you sure?
Without doubt. Let me do it. It'll make me feel better. It always does.
How much time do you need to get ready?
I'll go backstage in 20.
Okay, I'll let Ariel know.
Minnow goes.
You don't have to.
Do you remember back in June after
Yes.
when half of us needed to be here and half of us needed to be anywhere but here?
Yes.
And I was certain I needed to be so far away from here. And you said to me,
You need to be up on that stage and you have to claim your safety again.
if drag can't make me feel better, nothing can.
Audra waits for Kat to say more. They don't.
You can change your mind, is all I'm saying.
You came back inside. It felt like what you had to do. So natural you didn't even question.
Stupid, right? Like if someone had been in here, I would have walked right into it.
And I'm going up on stage tonight. It feels like what I have to do. It feels like rooting for myself again.
Sure.
Audra looks to the door, the faint sound of sirens.
Elise.
I'm gonna go have a smoke out back. You want one?
Yeah, I'll be right out.
Audra goes to the back door, but instead of leaving, watches Kat. Kat puts their forehead to the bar for just a second, then they're back up. Everything's fucking fine. They look up, they nod, they pick up another abandoned drink from the bar. They go to follow Audra out. We shift back to the day after.
None of us were in here?
No.
For how long?
2 cigarettes time.
Which for you both is a while.
Didn't realize we were supposed to babysit the empty bar.
I was babysitting the cops, yeah,
Well, didn't they do a sweep?
sort of.
And they checked Maggie's upstairs?
They strolled through.
You think someone snuck in when we were smoking?
Well, yeah,
In 2 cigarettes time.
which for you two includes smoke rings and whatever the fuck else you're up to this week.
We're not up to anything.
Wow, you can fuck off. Nothing is happening.
But would you rather us have been in here with the creep?
I'd rather someone been in here.
Well, let me remind you that according to emergency protocol, remember when you were so down with the emergency protocol, none of us should have been in here at all.
I know what this really is. You were literally too wrapped up in yourself last night to notice if things were going wrong. You feel guilty that you weren't doing your job, and now you need us to fill in the blanks so you feel less bad about not having a full story. I'm not here to be your therapist, Minnow.
Unbelievable. Like you weren't so wrapped up in your own shit last night.
Let's call it a wash. We all had shit.
Minnow, for all we know, it was you.
Oh, yeah, because that makes sense.
For all we know, Maggie put you up to this so you two could split the insurance money.
Spoken to Maggie in weeks. She took off and left me a note that I was legally in charge. This is my punishment.
Calm down, both of you.
I checked both you and Kat have keys.
Kat begins to erase the list of names off the board.
I know you're not accusing me of doing this.
You see how fucking stupid it is for us to be blaming each other?
Minnow sees Kat erasing.
What are you doing that for?
We're just not going to find out who did it. We aren't going to know. And we need to start leaning into the discomfort of that instead of pointing fingers at each other.
Literally, Kat, Audra blamed me first.
Well, at least I was paying attention for most of the
Does this have to turn into a middle school argument? Hey, you both said things, did things last night that could have shocked and alarmed a geriatric Republican. But maybe we just don't get to know who did this.
A moment. Audra begins to laugh. Minnow and Kat look at her.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you put the image of a geriatric Republican in here in my head. And I'm just imagining the look on a wrinkled, century-old man when I said, my badge is broken. And it's not funny. It's not funny. I just.
It's kind of funny.
I didn't mean to come for you. I've been in this room for too long. It's like seeping into my psyche.
Well, we just had so much in this room. We just said so much in this room last night that I don't know. There are things we still aren't remembering. It's unsettling.
Who even went on at 3?
What?
Everything gets so blurry at 3 a.m.
You did.
Fuck off, dude. Who went on?
You.
What the hell are you talking about?
That performance, you got up and gave your whole manifesto.
I fucking did not. Did I?
Now isn't the time to fuck with us.
Wait, what did I do?
You told the whole bar.
3 a.m.
The time does not shift back.
3 a.m. Where was I?
Minnow points.
Main stage.
Kat runs there.
Okay, start from the top. My face?
Kat imagines it, piece by piece.
Full femme, the peacock feather lashes, bright red lips, like old Hollywood glamour, black lace gloves up to your elbows,
Kat touches their jawline.
bright blue glitter beard.
That floor length gown of Maggie's that we keep in the back.
Genderqueer Holly Golightly.
You looked
Beautiful.
handsome,
Both at the same time.
whole,
Holy.
holy.
A sharp shift to Kat yelling from the stage.
Holy hell, there are so many of you. Hey, we've got no microphone tonight, so I'm gonna need you to shut up.
Kat waits.
Everyone have their glasses?
Minnow pours Audra a shot and hands it to her. Then she pours one for herself.
Raise them to the ladies and gentlemen and the actually interesting people here.
They raise.
Listen,
Kat takes a sip of their drink.
some mornings I wake up and I feel caught in the middle. Feel the she and the he waging a war in my guts, telling me they and them and theirs that they must choose. That the middle is just muck. But some mornings I wake up and it doesn't feel like the middle at all. It's something else entirely. It feels like slipping into warm flannel and sipping chai while it rains. Some days fiercer, like slipping feet into unbroken platform heels, clusters of muscles in my feet, controlling plantar flexion, feeling the downward pointing feet pulling at muscles all the way up my leg. Sometimes it feels like work, but it takes work to become. On my clearest mornings, they and them and theirs is a root. It grounds me as both she and he, and neither she nor he, both and neither. I don't know where that leaves me. I don't want to make a mockery of the women who slip feet into souls and find it fuel for their womanness. Truth be told, I'm jealous of them. It's simple for them. Uncomplicated. A feeling of being elevated. They find themselves powerful, but heels were made to be unisex. 9th fucking century, Persian men wore heels into battle on horseback, a symbol of wealth, of manliness. It roots me to my goddamn people. Like, if I had the means to trace up my family tree, could I find a member of the Persian cavalry that shares my name? that maybe also felt between and outside. It's the last thing I do before stepping on stage. Slip my feet into souls. I remember the first time I did, full-faced, 6'5", and I saw my entire existence snap into sharp focus. Saw the space I took up in the world. Clearly. And I wasn't ashamed for it. And I realized slipping feet into shoes was me preparing for the battle of being. Fighting. Ritual. I tattooed a Persian cedar tree on my thigh the day before I turned 21. I held hands with myself. I clutched my own body for the 2 hours it took for the needle to leave all of the ink beneath my skin, dipping in and out faster than hummingbird wings. I just watched as my artists poured their heart into my flesh. And I asked how long they'd been tattooing. And they looked young, but they said 20 years. And I said I couldn't imagine doing anything for 20 years. And they winked when they said, it roots me. And we laughed at the irony of tattooing a tree as roots, and I studied the hard edges of their face, the shadows of a red beard creeping in as they smiled and said, the art of creating, it just makes me feel so feminine, you know? I just don't see why I can't be male and female and neither male nor female at the same time. You know? And I said, I know. Because I did. And they said, Namas fucking te. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Like a beacon, like a lighthouse. The fresh ink on my thigh, leaving a dull, throbbing reminder, a steady pulse of knowing it didn't matter what I looked like to anyone else. I could claim my femaleness and I could claim my maleness and they could exist together and I could be complete. I only have one other tattoo. I went back to the same artist 5 years later and they said, I was wondering what happened to you. It's so good to know you're still here. And they put 3 words beneath my tree. It says burn, gender, burn.
Burn, gender, burn.
Burn, gender, burn.
Have you heard this story before?
Not like this.
So I kept painting my face, covered up my brows, I glittered my lips, I extended my lashes so far past the clouds and out of Florida and out of fucking Florida. And back in time, I wanted to butterfly kiss Marsha and Sylvia and the girls whose names we don't know and Christopher Street and the femmes who came before me and the ones who spoke Spanish at home with their mothers and yelled English to the cops in the streets. I wanted to seance with their ghosts and thank them for the air I breathed deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and I need to ask them why it is sometimes so damn hard to be the person I am.
Minnow pours water and rushes it on stage to Kat, a blurring of past and present.
Catch your breath.
And they clapped.
In through your nose and
you curtsied.
out your mouth.
Ever the performer.
A cut to the orchestral music. Kat stares forward. Minnow pushes a glass of water into their hands.
You don't remember?
And you know you got home okay.
They went home with me, like I drove them home. You did vomit out of the window of my car.
What color was it? The vomit. I think you were drugged.
It could have been any of the drinks you picked up off of the bar. If someone wanted to ensure no one would remember.
Kat, I thought you just had too much to drink. I didn't realize.
A long moment. And then, finally,
I thought I was safe. I thought I was going to be safe. I thought, hey, we have this place where I can dance and drink and look at black lipstick femmes across the bar and not.
Not naive.
I thought I was going to be safe. I thought, hey, we have this place where I can dance and drink and look at black lipstick femmes across the bar and not worry if they were going to be disgusted at the idea of kissing me later. I got so fucking comfortable. So fucking naive.
You're
So
not naive.
fucking naive.
No.
I know I can't let my fucking guard down. I know I can't get comfortable.
We can't be on code red high alert all the time, Kat.
But we have to. Even if we rebuild this place. This place is not safe, Minnow. We just pretend it is for peace of mind. Yo, fuck this. I gotta get out of here.
they leave. Quietly, Audra gathers her things. She goes to place a hand on Minnow's shoulder. Minnow shrugs it off and stands to pour herself water. Audra leaves. Minnow drinks the glass of water. She walks over to the cabaret table, piled high with wreckage. She places the empty glass of water on the table. In a second, Minnow overturns the cabaret table. She stands over the pieces for what feels like an eternity. And then she continues to clean, alone.
4 a.m.
Minnow plays music from her phone. She dances along at times. You can choose moments for Minnow to stop running through her closing checklist and instead have her sing along. We see her cleaning up the bar, wiping down the soda guns, putting garnishes in the fridge, putting glassware out to air dry, restocking napkins.
Left hand napkins, right hand glassware. Lick the deposit envelope, drop it in the safe, wipe down the speed rails.
She runs the length of the bar, wiping down the speed rails.
Left hand garnish, right hand carton of eggs. Carton of eggs. Find space in refrigerator for carton of eggs.
She picks up her phone to text Kat.
Text Kat to ask why we have a carton of eggs. Witty banter. Smile.
She thinks she hears something.
Look up.
She pauses the music and just listens. She hears nothing.
Kat? Audra?
No response. She waits. Then she presses play on the music again. She grabs the broom. She looks at the pile of wreckage on the ground. We're back in the day after.
4 a.m.
Music shifts again, away from Minnow's phone. Audra re-enters. Kat is close behind her, holding a to-go tray with 3 coffees in their individual spaces. A bundle of sage in a little clay bowl sits in the 4th space. After a second,
Everyone's been talking all day with the crime scene tape around the front still, and apparently they're all here. They're here to clean up and drink and dance.
Ariel's here. She said she'll spend all night for us if we open. She also brought us espresso and sage like the fucking witchy angel she is.
carefully, Audra scoops up the cabaret table. Kat sets the tray of cafecito on top of it.
I keep thinking back. When I was locking up, I thought I heard something and
No, don't go down that road. Don't go down the what ifs and maybes that have already been decided. Don't be scared for a past version of you.
you're right though. We aren't inherently safe, not even close, not alone. This room is just walls and doors to be walked through and knocked down. We're just a little blue pocket in a little red city, in a purple swing state, in a clusterfuck experiment of a country full of bigots and racists and sexists and homophobes, but but I look out for you, and you look out for Audra, and Audra looks out for me. That's all we can ask for, right? I can't keep you safe all the time, and it kills me. So when something happens to you, because sometimes things will happen to you, I need you to know that you can come here. Not just to the walls, but to me. You can come to me and I will run my fingers through your hair because I know you would do the same for me. And I will tell you that you are whole, complete, and you are beautiful, and you are strong, and that you being your most you makes me the most me. God, is that real? The DJs and the bouncers and the baby queers and the bar top dancing and the 3 a.m. confessionals, we make it free. For a few hours every night, we take the fear out. And isn't that all we're asking for?
All I want these days is laced fingers.
Lace fingers and lace boots.
They lace fingers, a small moment of sending a prayer upward, to what higher power none of them know.
Everyone grab a cup.
They all grab a cup of cafecito. They raise.
I swear to you both here and now that I will keep trying to keep you safe.
I swear to you both, here and now, that I will keep trying to keep you safe.
I swear to you both here and now that I will keep trying to keep you safe.
A breath. They drink. Minnow claps. The energy is electric. Think the jitters before a game, or the moments after a really good kiss, or, the moments following a shot of sweet espresso.
Okay. Everyone gets a shot when they get in, whatever they want.
Oh, we're going all out.
We clean it up. We throw the shit out. We smudge this place with that sage.
We smudge ourselves with that sage.
And then we throw a party.
Audra, do you want to take the sidebar?
By myself?
You think you can handle it?
Fuck yeah.
I'll get Ariel set up.
I'll let everyone in.
Minnow walks to the front door. Audra is prepping the side door. Kat is headed to the DJ booth. Everyone looks at each other one last time.
This is how we win.
The lights cut out as the music shifts from orchestral to loud, angry and femme. End of play. The music keeps playing.
Thank you guys so much. So we are going to do a quick Q&A. We have a few questions already prepared for the actors, and Sam Mueller is going to join us very soon. So the first question is, what is the difference between doing Zoom work and live work that you've noticed so far? How is it more difficult? How is it maybe better in some regards? And we'll start off with Mira.
I would say Zoom work is more difficult in the way that you can't use your whole body and your physicality to act. But it's also really cool to be able to connect this way and do like a live stream of it everywhere. It's more accessible, so that's cool.
Awesome. We're going to pass that on to Kiyama.
I'm not muted. Yeah, I would say it's definitely a lot harder just to connect to the other actors on stage, not being able to, make eye contact, and then blocking's a lot different because like there's no one next to me here, but I'm still supposed to be in that frame of mind. So that's what makes it difficult. But I think it's rewarding because it allows us to be a lot more creative digitally and do some things we probably never thought of before. So. Yeah.
Cool. We're going to pass that question on to Nate.
Yeah, I agree with everything that was said. I also agree with Mira, like it is a lot more accessible. I feel like people are really focused right now on the constraints of Zoom. versus like the ways that it can be so accessible. There's like not a lot of constraints as far as like money and access and transportation and all of that things, all of those like really somewhat divisive things that can play into theater. So I just really appreciate how accessible it is now. I also think that Zoom, like, it takes so much like intention and focus. It already takes like a lot of emotional work just to like be in a space with other actors and to like continually give back and forth. But like through Zoom, it's like a totally different set of skills. You have to like sort of really focus it and really hone it in. And yeah, it's kind of a trip, but it's good.
Awesome. What about you, Elena?
I definitely agree with Mira. I think the hardest thing for me is I am a very physical actor. I'm very expressive, and I learned pretty quickly into Zoom because I move my hands a lot. I realized I was moving it below the camera, like all the time. So I had to be very conscious of if I wanted to show that I'm moving my hands, it had to be forward. But because of this, what I like about Zoom is it's forcing me to focus on more of my facial expressions in acting and my voice, because I don't get the support of a set, like I don't get the support of lighting, I don't get the support of using my whole body. So I have to focus on my own ability as an actor.
Awesome. Yeah, the accessibility, I think I would definitely send forward. Because you can do plays for free. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do theater. You know, it should be accessible and it should be like the people's art. It should empower. And also, we would like to welcome Sam Mueller. They are the playwright of Laced. And Sam, we're just going to go ahead and start off the question for you. What is your writing process?
Oh my gosh. It looks a lot different during quarantine. It looks like not a lot of writing on most days, and then a lot of writing all at one time, either when I can find time away from work, or I'll sit and type notes on my phone, and then I'll go for weeks and weeks and weeks without feeling like I even know how to sit down and write, or that there's too much external stimuli coming from the world. And it'll just like slowly start to mount. I do try really hard to journal at least 3 pages every day. It doesn't always happen, but I think even if I'm just journaling about my life, or even if I'm like making a 3-page long to-do list, that at least getting pen to paper is really helpful. And I think I've been doing that for a while. So that's the bulk of the process for me, is just waiting for the story to actually like form itself in my brain.
Yeah. So for Laced, since this is a newer show, how did you start writing this? Was there anything that inspired you? Any people who inspired you?
Yeah, Lace is about 4 years old now, almost to the date. It started, the seeds of it were planted sort of after Pulse and before the election by a good friend of mine who I had interned with at a Chicago theater. And we were talking about how there was a lack of plays for bisexual femmes. She was going off to grad school in Florida to prevent being sent back to her birth country. And so she was like, I want a play that's as queer as I am, that also I can use as a text in grad school as both an actor and a director. So she gave me sort of boundaries. She was like, the script or the character list has to be small. I want one of them to speak Spanish. I want it to be set in Florida. I grew up in Tampa. And so I just sort of started to work from there. And then right around the beginning of starting to work on it, there still is a bar, a gay bar in Chicago, and it got vandalized in the middle of the night. Like people were there. It was like a busy night. And I think at this time, that bar was circumventing the idea that you have to put a gender on a bathroom door by taking the doors off. There were doors on the stalls, but there weren't doors on the bathrooms themselves. I think they were like, well, if we have to put a gender on a door, then we're just going to take the doors off until the law changes. And it happened. So it happened with people being able to look in. It's someone just like Sharpied all over. And it just, I couldn't let go of the idea that these things always do happen like right under our noses. And that these places that are sacred, like what does that feel like when they are so just like torn apart in front of our faces. So those were the seeds of Laced.
Yeah. As it's grown and changed, is there anything that's like that you've made a big change to, or has it mostly stayed the same with small edits?
Interesting. I think if I were to go back to the first draft, I would be shocked at how much changed. But I've been so lucky to be able to work on it pretty consistently with different organizations throughout these last 4 years that it all felt like tiny little changes. But I think because so much happened in the last 4 years and happened very publicly, I was able to make changes and like have the script sort of work around what was happening. And I think I would be more surprised at how much has changed than I would even realize.
Yeah, definitely. So this question is for the actors again. What is the most empowering part of the show for you and why? And we are going to start with Elena this time.
Oh my God. Okay. I really like the part that's in Spanish, where she's talking about her mother, and her mother's relationship with Lita, because I think the Latinx community, like being gay is still very taboo. It's not really accepted because that's just traditional in a lot of Latin American countries. Gay marriage is not legal in most of the countries in Latin America, and that is brought to the US and in Latin households. Which is why I think that having the character of Minnow is so important, and this story of Minnow and her mother.
Definitely. We're going to go ahead and pass that on to Mira.
I think my favorite part is just how they interact with each other. Like, I think that the three characters are just so, I don't know, like they just have such a great relationship, and you can see that in everything that they say with each other. And it just reminds me of me and my friends, and it feels cool to be like, have our conversations represented in a play, which is cool.
Yeah. Agreed. Audra, Kiama.
Unmute myself. So I would say all three monologues are my favorite, just because this show was cast to be true to like actually who the actors are in real life. So like, you know, we didn't go far off, like no one's straight in the cast, no one like, you know, that like we have to be accurate. So I think that, you know, our real lives being paired with characters who kind of are representing us right now. It works really well, just because, you know, those lived in experiences kind of rocket us off to, you know, making this kind of a 3D portrayal of the script. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that kind of like plays into the idea that Mira was talking about. Like, these are real people, and they're the people that we know when we go to school with or we work with, you know? I'm going to pass this on to Nate.
Yeah, I totally echo the sentiments of it feeling like people I know, conversations I've had. It just feels really authentic and very poetic in the way that it is just like about, you know what I mean? Just about like the simplistic things that happen between like queer individuals in everyday life. I also really just love that it's like, this is the first time I've ever played a character that doesn't have like a he, her, or a she, her, or a he, him, she, her pronoun associated with them. He, her, come on. Yeah. Yeah, it's the first time I've played a character that uses the same pronouns that I use, or that just has the same pronouns. And that was really a great experience because it sort of didn't feel like I had to like twist anything, or that there was any expectation on me dictated by something that I like don't have like the ability to control, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. So this question kind of goes along with the last question. How do you carry your queerness into your art? This is for everyone, so Sam and all of the actors. And do you feel safe in those communities? And how do you see them being made safe if you don't? It's kind of a loaded question, but we're going to start with Kiama this time.
This random shuffle is getting me. Okay, the first part of the question. I think in theater and just being surrounded by a lot of like-minded people and people who kind of share similar lifestyles with me. I don't think it's something I really have to. It's not something I have to worry about. Like I feel like when I'm around, people, especially at school in my major and like when I'm at rehearsals and things like that, I don't feel unsafe. I feel very taken care of just in the art community. I think the way I carry it is just I feel like for any piece of art, any piece of like any script, especially truth, is like my main thing. So just making sure that you're true to yourself and who you are, and not taking roles from anyone else. I feel like because I am othered, that makes me very hyper aware to other people who are not necessarily like me, who I could be taking opportunities from. So just being mindful of that as you go around has aided me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to move on to Elena.
I think that it's hard when you're auditioning for different companies because you have no idea, unless you do background research and the company is very vocally, like for any aspect, like religion, sexuality, race, like you don't always know what you're going to end up with. Like you could be the only queer person to cast, you could be the only person of color in a cast. And that's always something that I'm conscious of. And so I do my best to look for companies that I believe hold values similar to mine. But again, like for one thing, I work in opera, which is outside of theater. That is an old white people, rich people profession. And so I have to accept that when I go into that space, I may not be as safe than if I was in a Columbia production.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to pass this question to Sam.
It's interesting because I think with all the plays that I write, they're all inherently queer in some way, whether the play is about queerness or whether or not the play has characters in it that happen to be queer. And because of that, I think that it's easier for me to find community in theater because of who chooses to program these pieces. Right? Like if this play in particular doesn't mince words, and I didn't want it to, and right from the very beginning, even in the playwright's notes, it's pretty clear. I had a lot of, negative feelings about the non-queer world when I was writing this play. And I think I wanted this play to be as badass as humanly possible. And that is sort of synonymous with being queer to me. So any theater company that comes to me and says we're really interested in doing Laced, in the first like 4 minutes of conversation, I can sort of like, I can just tell. I can tell whether or not they're like down for the cause or not. And especially in how those companies approach casting, right? Like if the company is really truly trying to find these people in the world because they do exist, then I know that they are a company worth collaborating with, right? If they see the script and they see all the intricacies and they really do wish these characters to be who they are, that is like a really easy way for me to feel safe in a room, or for me to feel okay with putting actors in that room to then feel safe. But I feel like in terms of how do I personally wear my queerness, I think it's the most obvious thing and the least obvious thing about me at all times, right? I think it was just about like how I found what I feel like, how I feel comfortable presenting to the world. Like I have an undercut right now that's like kind of hidden, but for a really long time I had no hair. And then before that I had an undercut that was pretty high up. Which I don't think necessarily is only a trait that queer people have, but I think that it was a really easy way for people to read queerness on me. I just think it's however I've chosen to feel comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to move on to Nath now.
As far as the idea of like carrying my queerness through the world and just like carrying and who I am and what I've like grown with and into, I feel very similar to the words that Audra has in that one monologue where she's interacting with Kat, and she says to them like, as if anything I do isn't queer because I'm queer. And I feel like that's something that I still like I'm really having to learn, and it's something I think especially like a few years ago in my life I didn't always have the like awareness of that. I feel like for a really long time, and especially just because like as a child of the internet, you are really programmed to believe that you have to look a certain type of way in order to do certain types of things. And I think that that's a really white mindset too, is you have to dress and like just sort of adorn yourself in a type of way to get certain things and to be a certain thing. And yeah, I just think through like my journey, expressing my gender and like going out into the world and realizing that like I can feel safe and comfortable in myself, and that's like a power I can sort of like give to other people. I just realized that it doesn't really like matter. In a way, it's like if I know that it's an inherent truth about myself, then that will be present in everything. As far as bringing queerness into like my work, I I feel like personally I used to hide it a lot of the time. I used to go to like a lot of auditions and I would like try to butch it up. I would try to like put on button downs, you know what I mean? I would wear like Target fucking, oh, excuse me. I would wear like Target. I don't know if I'm like, is YouTube gonna ban us or demonetize? I don't know. But I feel like I would just like wear a lot of just like traditionally like men's clothing. And like more often than not, I would leave artistic experiences and auditions and show processes feeling terrible and feeling like it wasn't authentically me, and that doesn't work for me, and it's clearly never going to work for anybody else. So I agree with Sam in the way where it's like if you are being you and you're just like doing what you do, and it's like the situations you're supposed to be in, the cast you're supposed to be in, the spaces you're supposed to be in, you will ultimately be in, and you will be able to like learn from those spaces. Yeah, and just like being there and being aware and being present, and also like shutting up and letting people who aren't white talk is another thing too that is very important. And yeah, that's like the team.
Yeah, true. And Mira, did we have you answer this question? You didn't, right?
I mean, it's basically what everyone else said anyway. I feel like because I'm queer, every room that I'm in or any project that I'm working on is inherently queer with me. And I feel like as far as like safety in spaces goes, I've been really fortunate to be working in a lot of spaces that have been really safe for me, but not necessarily like queer, you know? So that's the part where it's like, I've played a lot of straight characters, and that's the part that we can move past. I feel like everybody's becoming more comfortable with queer actors and whatever, but we need more stories, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got two questions for you, Sam. One is from Justin. It is, I'm working on a novel with queer characters and found this very inspiring. What advice do you have about creating queer characters and avoiding traditional stereotypical gender representation or presentation?
Interesting. I had concerns about that with this piece too at the very beginning. And I think one, the play was almost always being heard at every stage of development in rooms full of people who do not carry my identity markers. So I think having a writers group or, you know, other novelists or even other writers of different media would be super helpful too. And you just actually have to listen to people. And if they say something you disagree with, like you actually just have to know that they're speaking from a place of truth. This piece, and also I think this is the thing with theater. I don't know if this is true about queer novels, though I'm sure it is because I don't come across many. It's like, I think there's a lot of pressure to have the piece of queer art be monolithic like try to make the queer experience monolithic, and that's just not true. It's not how that works. And so I had to give myself permission in writing this play to have this play not need to be every queer play, and trust that if I write my queer play or this play or what Laced wants to be, it's one, not the only queer play I'm ever going to write, and two, will open doors for other people to feel like they can tell their queer stories, and then three, try to figure out like who is not being heard and try to grab them and pull them along with me. This piece was part of the Kilroy's list, which is a list of plays by femme and non-binary writers. And I only made that list this year because this piece was scheduled for production and then was canceled. So the rules of the 2020 Kilroy's list were that they were all the canceled productions or postponed productions, right? They wanted to like recognize them in some way. And I was only ever on that list because of About Face Theater in Chicago found my play on a website called New Play Exchange. And New Play Exchange has a pay barrier to be a part of it in any way that's like meaningful, that other, you know, companies can find your work and what have you. It's not very expensive. I think a year is like $18, but I remember very deeply in my life when $18 was not an amount of money I could spare, especially as soon as I had gotten out of college. And I had put on Twitter, I'm in a place where I can sponsor 10 writers on New Play Exchange for a year. I never would have made the Killers list without New Play Exchange, but if you need a year access, I got you. And that snowballed, and I was able to sort of accidentally crowdsource like 40 subscriptions from the internet. And then New Play Exchange chipped some in too. And so I was like, I will, any queer writer who wants this year of New Play Exchange subscription, of which I still have codes left. So if anyone listening would like it, samwritesplays@gmail.com. Because that for me says like, I wrote this queer story and it's mine, but I found 40 others, right, that we can try to give access to that too. And that takes the pressure off of me to have to write something that speaks to absolutely everyone. The queer experience is certainly not monolithic in any way. And giving myself that permission was huge.
Yeah, so you already kind of answered this question, but Robin Connor wants to know where we can watch other plays that you have written, or if you have a place where you can read other plays that you've written.
Yeah, New Play Exchange is the big one. I think it's just newplayexchange.org. I could be very wrong about that. You sign up. If you want the free one, you can still read things. I have a page there. When the world can gather again, About Face Theater in Chicago will do the world premiere of this piece. And on New Play Exchange, there will be information about other performances happening too.
Awesome. So I think that we've come to the end of our Q&A, but I do have one final question. What is one gay artist that empowers you, your favorite gay play, your favorite gay movie, all of you, your favorite, any artists? Mine is, well, okay, so I just watched Kajillionaire last night. It's a new movie, 2020 release. Shout out to Yanni if you're watching this. It was awesome. It was secretly gay. It was amazing. Go watch it. Minnow.
No, I just forgot the name of the movie. Come back to me.
Alrighty, we'll go to Kiyama.
Okay, I'm ready. I would say like I'm pouring one out for Prince, cause for sure. And then like people, you know, who are still with us, so Steve Lacy, I would say inspires me a lot. Yeah, so he's cool. He makes music. So yeah.
Awesome. Mira.
I really love Christine and the Queens and Willow, a lot of gay artists, gay music artists. Sense8, I've been watching that recently, a lot of gay shit happening there. So yeah.
Sick. Nate.
I feel like I resonate with like a lot of like like queer people who are like in their 20s and 30s working right now, like two that come to mind, like Jeremy O'Harris, Hari Neff, Hunter Schafer. Yeah, just like beautiful queer people who are like, I feel like are actually my age and I'm like, can identify with in a way. And then also Allen Ginsberg. He has like a couple of poems that I'm literally like, yum, 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 let me eat this up. And yeah, Willow, period. Yeah.
Willow, yeah. And Elena.
Yes. The movie's called I Dream in Another Language. It's a Mexican film that's centered around two indigenous men who are in their 70s and about their relationship together through their life. Really powerful.
Damn, yeah. And Sam.
When I get really sad, I put on Janelle Monáe. I have a vinyl Prince that I put on too. There's a reason why Prince is in the first part of this script. And then there's a punk band called Against Me, and the lead singer is a trans woman, and she's amazing. And if you've never seen a trans-led punk band in concert, I really think it's otherworldly.
Awesome. Yeah, so I would just like to take this time to once again thank all of our cast for working so hard on this project. And Sam Mueller, thank you so much for letting us read your words. We can't wait to see the world premiere in person someday. And Danny, thank you so much. They were a wonderful director. They're watching this right now. Thank you so much for your time. And also, just remember to honor Sophie today and honor so many trans women who did not get to live past 34. Thank you all for coming. And if you would like to support our arts collective, it's at Revive Arts Collective on every social media, and the same thing for the website. So thank you all for coming.